going on YouTube? Today I thought I'd share a question with you that I was asked earlier in the week in my Discord group. Now the reason why I'm sharing this question with you and why I'm making a video about it is because I've actually never been asked this question before. Like, I've been in the Amazon space for a few years now. I've been asked hundreds, if not thousands of questions, and this was the first time I've ever been asked this question. In general as well, just off the top of my head, I don't really recall seeing this kind of question like hardly ever. The reason being is because I think that people feel that this question is maybe too common sense and therefore they might feel a bit silly asking it. But, you know, I strongly believe that no question is a silly question. Like, if you don't know, you don't know. Like, how else are you going to get the answer unless you ask? And, you know, if it's your first time doing Amazon, then you won't know until you know. So, you know, you've never done Amazon before, so you've got to ask these things. Now, the question was, how do I find the time to source? Now, usually the questions I get surrounding that sort of thing is, you know, how do I source? Or have you got any tips for me? Like, I've had a bad sourcing session, like what do I do to kind of try and turn that around? Or it's usually things like that about practically sourcing. I've never been asked about the whole time aspect with it, and I thought it'd be quite good to do a video on it because I'm sure that there's more people out there wondering about it. If you're here and you've thought, how do I, you know, give my time to Amazon? How do I give my time to sourcing? How exactly do I do that? How do I make that time? You're in the right place. I'm going to answer that for you. I don't think it's a silly question. If you've never done it before, if you've never attempted a side hustle or something like that, building a business on top of everything else that you've got going on in life, it's a completely relevant question and I understand it. So let's say you have started Amazon already, or maybe you're looking to start Amazon. You, for example, have a full-time job, a day job, a 9 to 5. Maybe you've got a family, maybe you've got a partner or kids, or, you know, maybe you've got a load of other things that you enjoy doing. Now, with work, if it is your 9 to 5, like, how long does it take you to get home? Do you actually finish at 5? Do you have to work a load of overtime when you get home? Are you still doing work-related things? Because lots of people do end up doing that because there's lots of jobs out there that do basically work you to death. So what time do you actually properly finish work for the day? Even if you do get home, what time do you actually finish that? And also, don't forget, in your evenings you'll have, you know, food to make, maybe a couple of household chores. You know, if you've got family, partners, kids around, you'll be doing stuff with them, no doubt. You know, after school clubs, you're just having time with your partner, or you know, doing bits with family, whatever. And then also you'll have your own time. You'll have your own things that you enjoy doing, and there's also just your bog standard tasks, getting the groceries and so forth. So amongst all of that stuff, because life can be very busy, how do you find the time to Amazon? It's quite a good question, actually. So let me start off by saying this. There is no pressure on you and there's no obligation to dive right into the Amazon business. Okay, there's very, very, very few people that actually just go and do that like that. You still have a job that you have to go and do. You still have family and stuff, and you'll still have your own interests and things that you need and want to do. So it's not about shutting out certain things, especially not when they're important. It's about managing your time and basically deciding where you can fit Amazon into what you do. Now let me break this down a bit more for you. So let's say you have evenings and weekends off. So your job Monday through to Friday, 9 to 5. Let's use that as an example. But of course, feel free to tweak that scenario dependent on your situation. And here's the thing, everyone's scenario, everyone's circumstances, everyone's situation is completely different. So it's hard to really address this generally, but I'm sure you'll be able to tweak this as we go along. So let's say you work Monday through to Friday, 9 to 5. So you have your evenings and your weekends as free time. Now, between evenings and weekends, you're probably more likely to get stuff done at the weekend. But I don't know, maybe you leave all of the tasks and things that you need to do for the weekend, and you know you have a load of free time in the evenings, whatever. Let's say weekends are where you're going to have more of your free time, because that's more likely. You've got 2 full days, okay? Evenings, a couple of hours. And to be fair, like when it's winter time and it's like dark before you even finish work, it's hard to be in the mood to do much else, and you kind of feel like the day's already ended. So I would say in winter it's a little bit harder just because of daylight hours and so forth. So with your evenings, what do you do in your evening? Now, as I say, you'll probably be having food, family stuff, maybe a couple of household chores, things like that. And I don't think, and the answer, by the way, isn't, and it's never going to be, cut out all of the stuff that is the I want to do this kind of stuff. Like if you have a hobby, don't cut that out, because your chill time, your unwinding time, the things that you enjoy in life, that is what life is all about at the end of the day. And to give all of that up, I wouldn't say is a good idea, because then you're just working and doing need to things 24/7, and it's not good. So don't give up any of that stuff. However, make a list of the things that you do. So in your evenings, weekends, decide where you can perhaps fit that free time. How long do things take that you do? Do you have any free time? Are there things that you know that you'll end up doing that aren't actually going to contribute towards anything? So for example, for me, when it came to doing this sort of thing and delegating time to sort of like extracurricular things like Amazon, one of the things that I ended up recognizing about myself and beating was just scrolling on social media. And I know that it's quite easy to do. Like you maybe will legitimately be looking for something, and the next minute you've scrolled through like TikTok a ton and an hour has passed. So what I had to do was recognize things like that about me, and then go, hold on a minute, I've lost an hour here to scrolling. In that time, I could have done X, Y, and Z. And it was about recognizing that and holding myself accountable for those things and basically making those changes. The other thing that I will say is that you have to treat the whole time thing like starting a diet or a New Year's resolution. Now, the reason why diets fail a lot of the time, the reason why New Year's resolutions don't even last January, is because people make these big sudden changes in their life and it's just too much. If you have that ability to make a big sudden change and stick with it, good on you, more power to you. But if you know that that's a bit of a struggle, and you struggle with big sudden changes, which is completely understandable because I do sometimes, what we have to do is make changes slowly but surely. That's how diets actually work out. That is how New Year's resolutions work out. That is how any sort of change that's how a lot of changes that we make work best, when we break it down and we cross that bridge in bite-sized pieces. So change small little bits every so often, and eventually you'll get to that point where it does equate to that big change, but it doesn't matter and you don't really feel it in the same way you would do when you make a massive change overnight, because you've made so many little changes that you got uncomfortable with it, you've gotten used to it. So start identifying where you potentially waste time or just lose time to stuff where you could actually be doing something else. So where are you like me, where I used to, as I say, just lose myself scrolling? Is there anything like that you do? If, say, you know that you've got a load of free time on say Saturday, why not use that free time for something that, if you don't know what else to do, if you really don't know what else to do and you just like, oh, okay, and it ends up being a bit of lounging around, try devoting some of that time to Amazon. Now, how much time should you spend sourcing? I would say when you're getting started, because there's literally no rush to having a big, like super thriving, massive Amazon business with a big inventory. There's no need to rush to that. And I hate the pressure that's out there by the yacht life YouTube gurus that have already been there and done the whole Amazon thing, and they don't really run the business anymore. They've been there, done it, and like the hard work bit is a memory. And it's that pressure, like, oh yeah, you got to get to my point ASAP in this whole get rich quick thing, which is just a load of nonsense. Let go of that pressure right now. Just let it go. There is no pressure on you to get from beginner level to advanced level super quick. Everyone does that at different points, and it works best when you do it in your own time and at a pace that you're comfortable at. So even for the next few months, even if you keep your inventory at, say, like, a dozen different items at any one point, and you keep things like, therefore you're keeping things like your prep time, admin time, condensed to a period of time that suits you, that's probably the best way to go about it. You don't have to have the world's biggest inventory if you're not comfortable with that yet. You can grow slowly, add to your inventory slowly. You go at whatever pace suits you. And hey, there's no obligation to make Amazon a full-time thing. If it's just a part-time thing, if that's all you want it to be, for a bit of extra money, for, say, doing cool stuff at the weekends, then that's what it's for. You don't have to find things that absolutely fly off the shelves. If you find stuff that, say, sells okay, because that's the pace you're comfortable with, that's fine. That really is fine. If that's what you're happy with, then that's fine. And that is where you can start making these little time changes and finding the time, because you're keeping things comfortable and at a pace that works well for you. So start identifying what things you do, what things need to be done, what things do you want to do, and what things actually, I could probably switch these things out for doing a bit of Amazon. That's my suggestion to you. I would say at the start, finding a couple of hours a week, okay, 7 days in a week. In that, a couple hours spread out over the week, doesn't have to be all in one go, spread out, for sourcing. As if you can do that, then you're off to a good start. So that's my advice to you about finding time. Hopefully this video was useful, and thank you so much for asking me questions. It keeps things very interesting. As I say, I've never been asked this question before, but hopefully this video helped you. Thanks for watching.